Hello, friends. We back for another Ruby reaction. Today we'll be checking out Ruby Fairy Tales: The Shallow Sea. So this is something a lot of people have been waiting for. We got it was first mentioned, I believe, in Volume 3, when Oz was mentioning or was talking to Pivra about fairy tales, and then she mentioned The Shallow Sea. So between like the three fairy tales she mentioned, we already know about the two brothers as well as the girl in the tower. So the Shallow Sea is this one story that everyone's like, I wonder if this is, just some minor story that we're not even gonna get answers to, or will eventually be revealed in a later episode or what. So uh I guess, yeah, with the fairy tale series they have here, it just makes sense that they'll include it in this like mini series, I guess. Yeah, without further ado, let's check it out. Pam 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 pam.
Faunus parents entertain their children with bedtime stories about where they came from. We are special, they say. We were chosen. But chosen by whom? The god of animals traveled all over Remnant, seeking those who were a little more than human,
God
and
of
invited them to
animals.
sail to the shallow sea to discover their destiny.
You did not fit in where you came from, but I know who you are. Leave this boat. Enter the water. It will wash your old life away and show what you've always been just
Whoa.
below the surface. You belong here. You are home.
Some of the people leapt at the chance the god offered. Others were more skeptical.
Though the sea did not touch you, it has revealed your own shallowness.
Fables often teach lessons, such as the importance of looking beneath the skin. But for Faunus, the story of the shallow sea does something more vital. It reminds them from a young age that their own lives have value.
Alright.
But Faunus are forced to grow up quickly. As they mature, they learn darker stories, in which the truth lies closer to the surface. Many, many years ago, in a faraway land, there was a war between humans and animals.
Why do you fight each other?
Are you human?
Animal?
I am neither and both. Why are you fighting?
They are not like us.
Why must everyone be the same?
We
We
worry
worry
about what they might do to us.
So you have something in common, after all. Judge not what you fear others may do, but by their actions.
We've seen the evil in their hearts. Humans are even more capable of destroying things than they are at creating.
Animals are stronger than us, but they will not join us in fighting the Grim.
You tried to control us. Why should we risk our lives to protect yours? The Grim have never bothered us. All we want is to be free.
You are too wild. You must be tamed so you won't steal from us. All we want is to live in safety and in peace.
You assume the worst about one another, but you are more alike than you know. If only you could see your best qualities as I do, and embrace your differences. I can end this conflict here, but only if all submit to my judgment, whatever it may be.
Ooh. I don't know about that.
We
We
accept,
accept
your
your
judgment.
judgment.
This god could be shady, right? Kind of feels shady to me. Oh, did they fuse them? Ah! So that's what happened. That's the judgment.
I thought the god would choose the superior species.
Perhaps they have.
Were you human or animal before?
It doesn't matter anymore.
I can see so far. Look, I'm so strong.
I'm walking like a monkey.
Seems we are neither human nor animals now.
Then what are we?
Better than both.
And it seems we now have a common enemy.
But we live here. Don't you know us?
We don't even know what you are.
Were we so narrow-minded when we were human?
Yes.
And so the Faunus left in search of a place they could live
Yes.
peacefully together, where they could become the best versions of themselves. These fables may seem fantastic, yet they reflect the real and unfortunate history of conflicts between humans and Faunus.
Yeah.
And though different versions of the same story, they have some things in common. Faunus leaving behind their old lives to create a new future for themselves, as well as the notion that humans and Faunus need each other to survive. If we all set aside our differences and work toward a shared purpose, how much better would Remnant be for everyone?
Interesting.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed this episode of RWBY Fairy Tales. To experience more folklore from
Alright.
the world.
I'll give my thoughts about that. That is something I've been thinking about after the volume 6 chapter 3 episode. I was thinking a lot about how more in depth about the mechanics of how that old world used to work. People say that the dust was derived from like the remnants of those that were killed with magic, and it's kind of hard to say because we really it's purely speculation, right? Like we have no idea how that would work. So my idea was not really those who died, but basically the people that came up after the death, when their bodies like decompose to the soil, it it turns to dust. So that's kind of similar with what the ongoing theory was. They say that it was from the previous generation, the ones that did have magic. But the thing why I don't think that's the case is because in the World of Remnant episodes, they mentioned that the dust is the reoccurring source, right? So if it's reoccurring, there has to be a seemingly endless supply. And if the dust itself is from those remnants of the people from that era, then it's a finite amount. It would have died down like, centuries ago. It would have been depleted, especially with how people use it now. So it seems like it's something that's a more continuous process. Now, I could also get behind the idea that when they did die and their bodies, you know, fused with whatever resource they have, probably the ground and all that, um, it kind of continuously multiplies, right? So that could explain why they haven't run out of supplies yet. It continuously um, creates more dust and more. But these are all just stories, right? So I also thought about what about um, the the children of Ozpin, right? Because in one of his past lives, they mentioned that he he had families, right? So I was thinking, does his children have powers too? And then I think I asked it in one of the group chats, and someone said that the kids of Osbin in Salem, they had their powers because of Salem, not because of Osbin. Which I don't know if that's been mentioned in like another, another medium. Like there's a forum for that. Some of the writers mentioned it in an interview. Because if it wasn't, then that's a very that's a very bold ass assertion, right? For you to say that it's like this when you have no evidence to say that it actually is. So I'm not really behind that. I think it's more circumstantial why uh both of their kids had powers while Oz's kids probably didn't have. So you could say that you need two parents with powers to um form children that have powers as well. And then I started thinking, well, what about the silver eyes? What's the origin of the silver eyes, right? And I don't know if that's gonna be explained in another Ruby fairy tales, but I was thinking, what about the faunus? So how did the faunus came to be? And I was thinking, yeah, I don't really know, cause from what it looks like, the time before Salem ruined the world, there wasn't any faunus, right? They mentioned that faunus happened afterwards. So it's good that we got this fairy tale, the Shallow Sea. You start learning what actually is the origin of the faunus. Basically, they kind of fused man and the animals. So that's cool. A little good tidbit there. It's kind of unfortunate that it took so long, right? I think people are the latest season is like volume 8, and we're just finding it now. It's good for me, for someone who's watching it uh just around volume 6. So definitely I think volume 6 chapter 3 is the episode that made a lot of people think about the history of the world, and you start thinking about uh like magic. You start thinking about silver eyes, you start thinking about the faunus, because these are all things that had a different status before Salem did her thing. So yeah, I guess those are my thoughts for now. So if you guys like the content, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support your boy even more, links to Patreon down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.